Clap it up, Israel. This is the I.S.U.P.K Houston Tuesday Brotherhood class. You understand? The I.S.U.P.K started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, where we are led by the amazing Commanding General YAHANNA. You understand? Today's lesson is very important for Israel, man. For right now, there's a lot of talk about us being saved by athletes and by rappers and by people with black people with power and influence. But we should know right now that those people don't have integrity at all. They don't have integrity. All they know is the dollar bill. You know what I'm saying? You got people like Kyrie Irving, who's at the top of his sports world, but he wants that money more than he wants to save his brother. Deion Sanders left a HBCU to go to a PWI, if I'm not mistaken. He don't care about his people coming up. He wants that money. You know what I'm saying? He wants that glory that you only get from white people. That's what he's searching for. You understand? And here in the I.S.U.P.K on the Command General Hunter, we are the only people who will lose for our brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes being a brother and a sister, you're gonna lose some things. You're gonna lose some money because you got to help a brother out. You're gonna lose some time because you got to drive a brother to and fro. You know what I'm saying? And Commander General Hunter is the only person I know who's turned down millions of dollars because he would rather have integrity. He would rather have the love of his brothers and sisters than a bank account full of money. You know what I'm saying? Give that brother a hand. Because your pastor wouldn't do that. Your pastor will sell you out for a 98 Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? He will roll down the street in a BMW, you know what I'm saying? Because he wants that money. He don't have integrity. You know what I'm saying? He has bank accounts that need to be filled up. You know what I'm saying? So today's class is about men having integrity, man. Have some damn integrity about yourself. That's the only way we can grow as a nation. Because with integrity, you put your nation first. You put your brother first, you have integrity. You know what I'm saying? Without integrity, you would throw your brother under the bus for a goddamn dollar. You would throw your brother on the bus for a woman. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have integrity to build a nation, man. And we're gonna go to 2nd Maccabees chapter 7, and we're gonna read about a family, a mother and her 7 sons who had integrity. You understand? She had integrity because why? They loved their forefathers and they loved their God. Go ahead, I get to me.
This is the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh and were tormented with scourges and whips.
So the king gathered this mother and her 7 sons and was forcing swine flesh upon them. He was forcing them to eat swine flesh. Come on.
Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said thus, what would thou ask or learn of us? We are already, Salaki, we are ready to die.
We are what?
We are ready to die.
We are what?
We are ready to die.
Come on.
Rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers.
Read the last part again.
We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers.
That's integrity. You know what I'm saying? We would rather lose our life than to shame our God and our forefathers, man. We don't have that today. Black people, Hispanic people in America, we don't have that. We don't have this type of spirit that this brother, what these brothers and their mother is displaying right now. We don't have that. Why? Because of Christianity. You understand? Christianity is the reason why we have an individual spirit among ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Black people don't have and brown people don't have a spirit of being a nation and doing the things to keep that nation great. We don't have that. We have the spirit of keeping America great. We'll fight for white people. You know what I'm saying? But this right here is the epitome of someone with integrity. This brother say, we are ready to die. You know what I'm saying? We would rather die than to transgress the laws of our fathers. And what are the laws of his fathers?
The commandments.
The law, statutes, commandments. Give brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? The law, statutes, the commandments. Give me Proverbs 11:3 out.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 3. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them.
I'll tell you something, man. If you got some honor about yourself, some integrity, man, that's gonna guide you and lead you to a righteous path. You know what I'm saying? But if you're one of those people who would toot your behind for $1, you know what I'm saying? They have a term for that. It's called gay for pay. You know what I'm saying? It's called gay for pay. You will pay, someone will pay you to be gay. Because why? You don't have no morals. You don't have no integrity. You don't. So $1 can sway you like the wind. You know what I'm saying? One day you straight, the next day somebody put $20 in your hand. Now you gay. You was gay yesterday, but that $20 proved it. You know what I'm saying? You got to have integrity, man. Keep going. Is that it on that?
Yes,
give me Acts 24:16 out. You gotta have integrity. It's Proverbs 11:3, man. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, man. You know what I'm saying? Have some damn honor about yourself, man.
Acts
24:16.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 16. And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense towards God and towards men.
Read that again.
And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense towards God and towards men. Verse 17.
That's it right there. He says, herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense toward God and toward man. You know what I'm saying? This brother here saying, well, he's not trying to do anything that's offensive to the Lord or toward men. You know what I'm saying? And this brother in the book of Maccabees, he did that. Read the end of verse 2 again in 2 Maccabees, if you could.
This is 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 2 at the end. We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers.
Right. That's a brother trying to be void of offense to the Lord and his brother. You know what I'm saying? They would rather die than to transgress the laws of their forefathers, the laws that was given to them by the Most High. That's integrity. Keep going. Give me verse 3 out in Maccabees.
Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot.
So the king got upset and he called for the cauldrons and the pans. Heat them up. Come on.
Verse 4. Which forthwith, being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spanked first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on.
So the king commanded their brother's tongue and his members of his body be cut off, and his mother and his other brothers was looking on. You know what I'm saying? Like they call this doing slavery buck breaking. Well, they would take one, you know what I'm saying, and they would break them in front of everybody else. And, you know, because they were slaves, they all gave in to it. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 5. Now, when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan.
And what?
And to be fried in the pan.
Come on.
And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother To die manfully.
To die what?
To die manfully.
Now they're sitting there watching their brother arms be cut off and to be thrown in the frying pan, right? But it says they exhorted one another with their mother to do what?
To die manfully.
To die what?
To die manfully.
Come on.
Saying thus, verse 6, the Lord God looked upon us, and truth have comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comfort in his servants.
Integrity. You know what I'm saying? That's integrity. Keep reading.
Verse 7. So when the first was dead after this manner, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock.
So the first brother died, then they brought in the second one to make him a mocking stock, so everyone could laugh at him. Come on.
And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair.
They did what?
And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair.
They pulled the brother's skin and his hair off his head. Come on.
They asked him, will thou eat?
Will you eat this pork? Come on.
Before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? Verse 8.
Come on.
But he answered in his own language and said no.
Read that again.
But he answered in his own language and said no.
What's the Hebrew word for no? La'ah.
La'ah.
So read that again and add la'ah to that.
But he answered in his own language and said la'ah.
La'ah. You know what I'm saying? He said no because why? The subject of today's class is have some damn integrity, man. You know what I'm saying? Just because life is hard, don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, people use hard times to be, let me go smoke this cigarette right quick. You know, let me go hit this weed right quick. Let me go smoke this crack. Have some integrity about yourself. Integrity is the path to righteousness, right? We read that earlier. You gotta have integrity, man. And this brother here seen his brother members cut off and boiled in a frying pan. Had his hair and head ripped off his head. And in his own language, he said, what?
La'ah.
La'ah. I ain't eating no goddamn pork. That's integrity, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Wherefore, he also received the next torment in order, as the former did. Verse 9. And when he was at the last gaps, he said, thou like a fury take us out of this present life.
He said what?
Thou like a fury take us out of this present life.
In his last breath, he said what?
Thou like a fury taketh us out of this present life.
You like a fury, you took us out of this present life. Come on.
But the King of the world shall raise us up.
But the King of the world shall raise us up. Come on.
Who have died for his laws.
Who have what?
Who have died for his laws.
Our King is going to raise up the brothers and sisters who have died for his laws. You know what I'm saying? Who stood firm, who stood on that square. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you something. In the I.S.U.P.K, we stand on that square. You know how many, like, give it up for Commander Johnny Hunter. I'm gonna say this. I said this last week, but it's just reading this is heavy. He could have tweaked the truth just a little bit and had this whole room filled up. He could have said, the Bible says every man can only have one wife, and it'd have been women all in this school. You sure right, only one wife. But he stood by what the scripture says, multiple wives. You know what I'm saying? And that puts Christian women in a headlock. They hate to hear that. He could have tweaked the truth in any slightly way and had these schools around the earth, probably double the number. You know what I'm saying? But the brother had integrity, man. The brother had integrity. And sometimes you find yourself by yourself because of integrity. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody around you ain't got it. They don't have it, but when they see you with it, it pushes them away because they don't share the same spirit you do. You know what I'm saying? And with that integrity he had, man, look at the school now. His integrity gave a chance for me to come to the truth. You know what I'm saying? His integrity gave me the chance to raise a family in the truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's amazing. Just as this family in here had integrity, so does the brothers and sisters in I.S.U.P.K. You know what I'm saying? Read that last part again.
Who have died for the Salaki. But the king of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws, unto everlasting life.
Say, man, we're going to get everlasting life because we held down for our king. You know what I'm saying? We held down these laws, statutes, commandments for our king. You understand? Give me verse 10.
Verse 10. After him was the third made a mocking stock. And when he was required, he put out his tongue. And that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully.
Holding what?
Holding forth his hands manfully.
So now we down to the third one. You know what I'm saying? This brother put out his tongue on his own accord. You know what I'm saying? And then he held forth his hands manfully. You know what I'm saying? He put them out there. Keep going.
Verse 11. And said courageously, these I had from heaven.
These what?
These I had from heaven.
Man, these hands I got from heaven. Come on.
And for his laws, I despise them.
And for me to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, I despise these hands. You know what I'm saying? The Lord gave them to me. In order for me to stay righteous, I despise these hands. Come on.
And from him, I hope to receive them again.
Look, man, and our king, he going to give them back to me again. That's integrity. The brother put his own self on the line, put it and not, the scripture said he did it manfully. Manfully. You know what I'm saying? I know in 2022, we're not taught, well, being a man is toxic. You know what I'm saying? But being a toxic man is all through the scriptures. Being a man. Give me that Job 38. 38 and 3.
This is the book of Job, chapter 38, verse 3. Gird up now thy loins like a man.
Do what?
Gird up now thy loins like a man.
Man up. You know what I'm saying? Gird up thy loins like a goddamn man. You know what I'm saying? We don't hear that enough today because why? Being a man is seen as toxic. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. I've been in the truth since 2015, and I recently found out that the man that Commander General Hunter raised me up to be is toxic in today's world. You know what I'm saying? Get a Lord a hand. You know what I'm saying? Get a Lord a hand. Because the truth is, toxic masculinity, as they say, is what's going to save Israel. It's what's going to save our nation. You can't have a nation built on weakness. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to take a war for us to conquer our enemies. It's going to take a war. It's going to take a manly spirit on our men to want to make sure their nation rises up. Give me Exodus 15 and 3 out. And we have to carry the same spirit of our fathers, of our king, of our God. Go ahead.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war.
The what?
The Lord is a man of war.
Man, our God, our power is a war God. You know what I'm saying? He's a God of war. So therefore, his people should be a warrior people, right? That's the spirit we should have as Israelites. You know what I'm saying? As we see in 2 Maccabees, all these brothers have the spirit of their God. All of them. Read that again.
The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name.
You goddamn right, man. And Job has said, gird up thy loins like a man. Be a goddamn man. Have some integrity. You understand? Don't let this world sway your mind or sway your spirit from the mission. And the mission is raising up the 12 tribes of Israel. That's our mission. You know what I'm saying? But you can't think that the people in the world have that same mission. The people in the world, their mission is to make more money. Kyrie Irving got $90 million. Is that not enough money? Prime time. He been paid since he was 21 years old. Is that not enough money? You understand? Now it's time to raise up your people. That's why scripture says it's so hard for a rich man to make it to the kingdom. It's really hard because he sees those riches as more important than me and you. But here in I.S.U.P.K, you're on the top of our list. You know what I'm saying? We give our own resources out to feed you, to clothe you. You know how many phone calls command you to get a rent it being paid, phone bills being, you know what I'm saying, card notes, and they get paid. Because why? That's how you grow a nation. You can't grow a nation with selfish Negroes. You can't. You grow a nation with compassion. And that's what we lack, that compassion, and we lack integrity, man. We lack it. But guess what? Since 1969, the Lord brought the prophets back, and guess what? They putting integrity back in the hood. We're putting it back in the hood. Give me where we at? Verse 11. No, verse 12, Salakia. Yeah.
And so much that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage.
Right. When you have real integrity, people see it. You know what I'm saying? People see your integrity. People see your spirit. People see your courage, man, to not give a damn what's going on around you and to do what's right. Come on.
And so much that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pain.
Come on.
Verse 13. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner.
So this brother caught the same issue like the ones before him. Why? Because he held on to his integrity. He didn't want to shame his forefathers and his God. Keep going.
Verse 14. So when he was ready to die, he said, thus, it is good being put to death by men.
Right.
To look for hope from God, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life.
Right. This brother said, it's good to be put to death by men. Why? Because my God is going to raise me up. You know what I'm saying? He also told the king, look, you ain't going to have no resurrection, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 15. Afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him.
So that's 5 out of 7 brothers got mangled and killed. Come on.
Verse 16. Then looked it he unto the king and said, thou hast power over men. Thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not what our nation is forsaken of God.
Right. You destroying us now, but don't think our God has forgotten us. Don't think that our God has forsaken us. And that's what, you know, when we keep these laws or his commandments, our God fights for us. You know what I'm saying? But what it takes for us for him to get back on our side, we got to think ourselves. We got to remember our forefathers and the covenant they made with our power. We have to remember those things and come back to God. Then our Father will fight for us. You understand? And we gotta bring that spirit back into Israel. Black, Hispanic, Native Indians, our men, that spirit starts with you. If you have it, your women gonna follow it. You understand? You have that type of integrity, that type of man, being a warrior for your people. You have compassion for your brother and sister. The women gonna follow it. They always followed us. That's our job as leaders. It starts with us and it starts with integrity. Keep going.
Verse 17. But abide a while and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thou seed.
Just wait a while and you're going to see his great power, and the Lord is going to judge you and your seed. He's going to torment you and those that come out of you. Come on.
Verse 18. After him also they brought the sixth,
So we on brother number 6. Come on.
who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God, therefore marvelous things are done unto us.
Come on.
Verse 19, but think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished.
Right. And that goes to our press of the day. You're stumping on God's chosen people, and you have not been judged for the crimes you've done against us. Read that last chapter, the last verse, 19. But think not.
But think not thou that takest in his hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished.
Do not think that you will not go unpunished, oppressor. Do not think that our power has forgotten what you've done to us, what you're doing to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are patiently waiting to give all that you gave to us back to you. We're patiently waiting on it. You understand? And Christians don't understand it. All Christianity do is want to love everybody, but none of that is in the scriptures. The Most High wants revenge, which he's always done. He always avenged the children of Israel all throughout the book. Don't think it's different with your oppressor today. He's going to get that same torment too. Keep going out. Verse 20.
Verse 20, but the mother was marvelous above all.
But the what?
But the mother was marvelous above all,
Come on.
and worthy of honorable memory.
And what?
And worthy of honorable memory.
It says the mother. Now, I know we just read what these 6 brothers did, and that's tough. You know what I'm saying? I know we just read what these brothers did, but it says what? But the mother?
But the mother was marvelous above all.
What the mother did was marvelous above what the 6 brothers did. Come on.
And worthy of honorable memory.
And that's what we're talking about today. She's worthy of honorable memory. Keep going.
For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day,
Good night.
she bare it with a good courage, because of the hope that she had in the Lord.
That's a good mama. That's a good mama who actually has faith in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Not the big mama here at the Christian church who just talk it. This mama right here, she was about that. She was about the stuff that she believed in. And believing, and I'll tell you something, sometimes you got to die for what you believe in. If you're serious about it. If you got integrity. If you don't have integrity, you can say one thing and, oh man, but I was just playing. When you have integrity, you got to stand on it. And this is what this mother did. And she taught her sons how to stand on it too. You know what I'm saying? She was marvelous above all. What the 7 sons did is nothing compared to what she did. Go ahead.
Slacky, sir, if I may, like how you hitting kind of heavy on this, how I just read these verses and stuff. The mother was such a strong woman.
Right.
I ain't never read nothing like this. How this woman just had an honorable memory and she had courage just to see her 7 sons get slain in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
You have mothers out here today, they wouldn't be able to bear it. It's unbearable.
Right.
It is unbearable.
Right. Get a brother hand. We'll say it. All right. This such a heavy chapter, man, because this is our people we talking about. We ain't talking about other people, other nations' people. This is us. We all supposed to have this same spirit. You know what I'm saying? Our moms, our wives, our grandmothers, our supposed to have the same spirit this sister had. To see her sons being slain, but yet she still had, you know what I'm saying, her trust in the Lord. That's marvelous. Keep going up.
Verse 21, she exhorted every one of them in her own language.
Come on.
Filled with courageous spirits and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach.
Now, she was stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. You know, she felt sad for her kids, but she had to get it together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She had to get it together. Keep going.
She said unto them, verse 22, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. Verse 23, But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again,
Right.
as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake.
Right. The Lord gave y'all breath and life to begin with. You know what I'm saying? And you regarded your own selves for his law, statutes, commandments. You know what I'm saying? That's what she was saying. She was exhorting her sons up, bigging them up. You know what I'm saying? Excellent work, my boys. Excellent work. You know what I'm saying? You put your lives down to lift up your culture. You know what I'm saying? You put your culture first. Deion Sanders, you know what I'm saying? Deion Sanders had a chance to get, you know, the HBCUs running and get them off the ground. You know what I'm saying? But he gave up his culture because he want to be in the white man's lap. You know what I'm saying? He say the place he at right now in Colorado was down there crime free. You know what I'm saying? You got white people around. There's always going to be crime. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. There is always going to be crime. And since now you're one of the few blacks there, you're going to be the one who the crime is aimed at. You know what I'm saying? But the mama, man, she said something heavy. I didn't give you life. I didn't give you breath. The Lord did that. You know what I'm saying? And will also his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. That's heavy. That's heavy. You know what I'm saying? Her sons gave up their lives for their culture. That's heavy. Give me verse 24. Hey, shalom, Mark. Second Maccabees 7 and 24.
Verse 24. Now
Antiochus,
thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech.
Now, all that the mother just said, the king took it as disrespect because she said it in her own language. So he felt like, man, she disrespected me. Go ahead.
While the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and a happy man.
So the king saw the youngest one, and he told him, look, man, I can make you a rich and happy man. I promise to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Gave him oaths. Keep going.
If he would turn from the laws of his fathers.
If he was what?
If he would turn from the laws of his fathers.
The king is trying to break these brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? If you would turn from your culture, from your laws, statutes, and commandments to eat this pork, I'll make you a rich, happy man for the rest of your life. Keep going.
And that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs.
Right. He would give him a lot of power. Keep going.
Verse 25. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life.
So when the young man didn't answer the king, he called his mom over. He said, Mama, go talk to your son and try to save his life. Keep going.
Verse 26. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son.
So mom like, yeah, no sweat. I'll go talk to him. I'll go get his mind right. You know what I'm saying? Keep going with that.
Verse 27. But she bowing herself towards him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn.
So she bowed herself to her son, and they both just had a good laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to tell you, like, this is why we're talking about this mama right now. You know what I'm saying? She just seen her sons die. So she go to her youngest son, and they just having a good laugh. You know what I'm saying? They laughing hard at the tyrant, at the king. Go ahead.
Spanked in her country language, Salaki, spoke in her country language on this matter. O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and give thee suck 3 years, and nourish thee, and brought thee up unto the age, and endured the troubles of education.
Right. Come on.
Verse 28. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise.
Right. Consider that the Lord made everything. You know what I'm saying? What you think this king has is nothing to what the Lord has made. You know what I'm saying? Remember the king promised him, I'll make you a happy rich man. And mama was like, it's nothing to what the Lord did. Hey, give me a Job 38:3 and just hold it for me. Keep going, Art.
Verse 29. Fear not this tormentor.
Fear what?
Fear not this tormentor.
Now, this the counsel the king asked mama to give him. Come on.
But being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren.
That's the counsel she went and gave her son. How many people women would tell their son something like this? None, because none don't believe in God, in the culture like this sister did. You know what I'm saying? What they teach at Christianity is not sown in people's heart today. It's not sown. You know what I'm saying? Read that part again. 29.
Verse 29. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren.
Right. Take thy death. Read that for me, Job 38:3. Take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brothers. Basically, mama was saying, go ahead.
Job 38:3. Gird up now thy loins like a man.
Be a goddamn man. You know what I'm saying? Be a man. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what mama's saying. Gird up thy loins like a goddamn man. Like your brother them just did. Like your brother them showed you what a man was who had integrity. You know what I'm saying? Verse 30.
Verse 30. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for?
Why are we waiting? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? When mama was talking to the young man, he said, well, what are we waiting on? Keep going.
I will not obey the king's commandment.
I will not eat no damn pork. Come on.
But I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses.
Take off your head. Read the part again.
Verse 30. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for?
Yeah, what the hold up? Come on.
I will not obey the king's commandment.
Come on.
But I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses.
Integrity. Integrity. You just seen your brothers die before you, and you still have the nerve to say, I ain't finna do what this king asked me to do. I'm gonna keep hold the law, church commandments of my forefathers given us by Moses. Integrity. You know what I'm saying? Integrity. Debo got into a fight. I can't remember the scene, but he beat up Red. Remember he hit Red? Yeah. And then he turns to the old man. You want some of this too, old man? No. You know what I'm saying? Because old man seen, his daddy seen what just happened. I ain't going that route. I'm tell you something. This brother here just seen all his brothers' arms and limbs and tongues cut off and thrown into a frying pan. And he said, well, shit, sign me up too. Integrity. If we have that in Israel today, we'll be a better people. But we have to come out in I.S.U.P.K and teach it to people. We got to teach black people to have an integrity. We got to teach black people to have compassion for one another. You know what I'm saying? What this brother right here just did, read that verse to me again.
Job 38:3. Gird up now thy loins like a man.
That's what he just did. He manned up. You know what I'm saying? He was the youngest one. Little young, no sweat, mom, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was taught the culture. He was taught to actually believe in what you say. Believe in what you say you follow. Believe in, like you say you love God. Actually believe in it. Be willing to die for that. This story here is a story of warriors. Why? Because God is a man of war. And they have the same spirit as their father. Come grab us on the mic for that, brother. He's a man of war, man. Gird up thy loins like a man. It starts there. Grab your nuts, man. Have some integrity. All right, give me verse 31.
Verse 31. And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hands of God.
You will not escape the punishment that's coming to you from what you did to us. You won't escape it. You know what I'm saying? What's your name, Out?
Aaron.
Aaron, hold what you got right there and give me Obadiah 1 and 9. But keep reading, young man, Stefan.
Verse 32. For we suffer because of our sins.
Because what?
Because of our sins.
We suffer now because why? We don't keep the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. We keep those laws, we on top. We will run the nations. To show you something, the Jewish man vaguely follows our laws and he runs the world. Think about what happens if we actually follow what the Lord said. The universe will be ours. In our sin, the whole earth follows everything we do. In our sin. You know what I'm saying? We're the best dancers. We're the strongest athletes. We're the smartest people. We invent everything. Don't let Moab fool y'all thinking they able to invent stuff in China. They ain't doing that. They're taking what we built and building on that. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, we build everything. We the brains on the earth. When we was in slavery, the white man didn't have to build nothing. He was cooling. We was building stuff to make our load easier. Come out of slavery, we invented the light poles, the cars, video games. That comes from us. Because why? We're the salt of the earth. We give the earth flavor. And that's in our wickedness. Think about how what we would do if we ruled the earth in righteousness. Keep going up.
Verse 32. Salaki. Verse 33. And thou, the living Lord, be angry with us a little, while for our chastisings and correction, yet shall he be at one again with his servants.
Yeah, the Lord, he going to be angry with us for a little while. You know what I'm saying? But after that chastening, you know what I'm saying? He going to love us again. Because we're going to come back to him. We're going to bethink ourselves and be like, damn, we tripping. We got to follow these thoughts, statutes, commandments, and come back to our power. Then Lord on our team again. What you got? Let me hear it.
Obadiah 1 and 9. And thy mighty men, O Taman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Now hold that right there. Go back up to 31. Read 31 for me again.
And thou that has been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hands of God.
Our enemies will not escape their judgments from the way they handled us. Now read what you got again.
Obadiah 1 and 9. And thy mighty men, O Taman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Now, why is the Most High going to cut off Esau by slaughter? Read the next verse.
For thy violence.
For what?
For thy violence.
For what?
For thy violence.
Come on.
Against thy brother Jacob.
Against who?
Thy brother Jacob.
Jacob had his name changed to Israel. 12 tribes of Israel, so-called Negro, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The Lord ain't forgot. You know what I'm saying? He ain't forgot the mischief, the torment, the harm. You know what I'm saying? Like, people only show blacks being hung, lynched from trees. But if you do a little research, the Mexicans right there with us being lynched. The Lord ain't forgot that. He ain't forgot it. And the earth is bringing all this information out. You're going to pay Esau or any oppressor for the crimes that you have done against the Lord's chosen people. You know what I'm saying? Anything on this? Is that it on that verse?
No,
Read it again.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Good night. You know what I'm saying? Let's jump down to verse, we on 34.
But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed it up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of God.
Right. Oh, godless man. Keep going.
Verse 35, for thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty God, who seeth all things.
Right. You will not escape this judgment, for the Lord sees all things. Salaki, go ahead.
Verse 36, for our brethren, who now have suffered a short pain, are dead under Yahweh's covenant of everlasting life.
Right.
But thou, through the judgment of Yahweh, shall receive just punishment for thy pride.
That's right.
Verse 37, but I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching Yahweh that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that he alone is Yahweh.
Verse right. That's keep going, Salaki.
Verse 38, and that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon all our nation, may cease. Verse 39, then the king, being in a rage, handled him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked.
So all we've been reading just now was being said by the young brother. All we just read about how the Lord is going to come back and get judgment for those who think he's not seeing it. The king was upset. This whole chapter, the king been upset. You know what I'm saying? Because why? You got niggas in here telling him, you know what I'm saying, we will not bend to you. You know what I'm saying? And a person of power hates that. A person of power hates people with integrity. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't use their power to influence, to take away your integrity. You know what I'm saying? They can't use their money to, and that's why you turn niggas into homosexuals. Because niggas gonna pay to be gay. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 40, so this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in the Lord.
Come on.
Verse 41, last of all, after the sons, the mother died.
Man, get his mama a hand and her sons, man. This is a very powerful chapter, man. And I know you came a little late on it, brother. This is a very powerful chapter of having integrity, man, for your God, for your people. You know what I'm saying? These brothers and their mama lost their lives because why? They stood on what they believe. They stood on their culture, their law, statutes, commandments. They stood up for their God. You know what I'm saying? Give me Psalms 112. 112. Yep.
Psalms 112, verse 1. Praise ye the Lord. Blessed is the man that feareth the Lord.
That what?
That feareth the Lord.
I'll tell you something, man. These brothers here, they feared the Lord more than they feared their king. You know what I'm saying? Like, the king was cutting off limbs and throwing them into frying pans, but yet they feared the Lord more than their king. Go ahead.
That delighted greatly in his commandments.
Come on. Like they lost their lives to keep the commandments of God. That whole chapter was about a king forcing pork upon them, and they gave up their lives just to keep the law, statutes, commandments. Keep going.
His seed shall be mighty upon earth.
Right, because if you teach these laws, man, you're going to teach to your generation, the next generation. And when we follow these thoughts, commandments, we become a mighty people. Keep going.
The generation of the upright shall be blessed.
Come on.
Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endureth forever.
You're going to get those wealth and richness when you be righteous. When you keep these laws, the blessing that comes with it is that the Lord lifts you up. The Lord raises you up. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 4, unto the upright there ariseth light in the darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous. Verse 5. A good man sheweth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion.
Verse 6, come on.
Surely he shall not be moved forever.
He shall what?
Surely he shall not be moved forever.
When you have that integrity, man, you stand on something. Nothing can move you off your square. Keep going.
The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance.
Read that part again.
The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance.
That's why 2,000 years later, we're reading a story about a mother and her 7 sons, how their righteousness, you know what I'm saying, was not moved. We're reading about that now because they stood up for their king, stood up for their God, stood up for culture. We're reading about 2,000 years later. What are you going to do that's going to show your integrity so people years later can talk about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't give up to the enemy. Have some integrity. That's the theme of the class, man. Have some damn integrity about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, the wind can blow you anyway. You know what I'm saying? And you used to be a woman or a dollar that'll make a man lose all his integrity. You know what I'm saying? But here, I.S.U.P.K, we're taught, nigga, that's all we have, our integrity. Integrity, compassion, all the things that's needed to build a nation, it starts in here. And it's been here since 1969. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all see those other Israelite groups out there. They ain't got integrity out. They ain't got it. Because you know why? If they had integrity, they'd still be here. Right? They'll still be here. They don't have it. They don't have compassion. Because they did have it, they'll still be here. They ain't got no brotherhood. Because if they did have it, shalom. You know what I'm saying? Give me you give me Mark 3:27, and you give me let's go back to Job 38:3. Yes, sir. This is one of my favorite scriptures, man.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house.
No what?
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
If you have a strong man at the door, no man cannot come through and rob you. You know what I'm saying? What's your name again, Doc? Aaron. You got a family? If you at your house and you defending your family, can't nobody come in and just rob them. Keep going up.
And spoil his goods.
And take his goods, come on.
Except he will first bind the strong man.
First, you got to remove you out the way. You got to bind you up. Bind me to lock him up. You got to lock up the strong man and take him out the picture. Come on.
And then he will spoil his house.
Now, there's no strong man there. So now I can just walk in and take everything, right? That's what the so-called oppressor has done to Israel. Like our strong men who supposed to hold down our culture, have that integrity that these brothers have, we're not there right now. That's why we're stuck in these religions. That's why our nation hasn't risen up. That's why, you know, anytime something happens that deal with black people, you have about 10 to 20 different views from different black people. Like when something happened to white people, they all got one view, and this is how we're gonna handle it. When it comes to us, man, you got some people who want to love the person who did us wrong. Some people want to kill the person who did us wrong. You know what I'm saying? We're not on one accord. Why? Because our men not together. Our men supposed to be that strong man and at the front door. You know what I'm saying? Like these brothers right here, they had integrity. We don't have men with integrity no more. We don't have that. Now we got our women at the door. And you see the condition of our families now. You know what I'm saying? But not to say to all women, because this mom in this story, she was marvelous. She was marvelous, but her sons were the ones who's gonna fight. Her sons were the ones who gave up their lives because of the integrity that was taught to them by her. Anything else on that?
No,
No sweat. Give me what you got.
Job chapter 38, verse 3. Gird up now thy loins like a man.
Do what?
Gird up now thy loins like a man.
Tell you something, man. Grab your nuts. Be a goddamn man. Have some integrity, man. Love your people. Like, you gotta want something better for your people. And it's gonna put you at a disadvantage sometimes. You know what I'm saying? When anytime you, I don't say anytime, but when you want to do right towards your brother, it's gonna sometimes put you at a disadvantage. Be a man. Take that disadvantage. Because in the long run, it's gonna pay off. You understand? You holding something?
No.
No sweat. No sweat. And with that, we're gonna end class. Imagine. I'm gonna give a curse salute to the brothers. Come on. Men of Israel. Amon Shabbat. Imagine. Barak. Hold on quick. Yahweh Shem Al Shah Barakatah. Yasmatah. Saw means turn to the sisters. Give a curse salute to the sisters. Men of Israel. Amon Shabbat. Imagine. Barak. Yahweh Shema Al Shem Al Shah. Yasmatah. Dismiss. Clap it up.